I told him to do as I said or pack his bags right in front of our friends. The look on his face said it all. I don't think people truly understand how cruel life can be until they've experienced the person they love the most abandoning them. And that's exactly what happened to me. The person who meant the world to me left, and I was forced to confront the harsh reality of life. The ironic part? It was all my fault. They say you don't know what you have until it's gone, and I never realized how true that was until it happened to me. To clarify, this is about Larry and me. Larry was my boyfriend, and we had been together for about a year. You know how people sometimes develop strange habits or traits over time? Well, that's what happened to me. I wish I could say I didn't know where I picked up the particular behavior that strained our relationship, but I know exactly where it came from. Things used to be so sweet between Larry and me. We had the perfect banter, both of us were naturally funny, which is a rare thing to find in a partner. We spoke bluntly to each other, often in humorous ways that got the message across while making us laugh. But that dynamic began to change when my sister came to stay with us for a few days. My sister was going through a bad breakup, and I didn't want her to be alone. During her stay, she did things I wouldn't normally tolerate, but because she was my sister and in a tough place, I tried to be understanding. Larry and I were both very tidy. It was one of the things that made our relationship work so well. We couldn't stand a messy house or dirty dishes in the sink. But while my sister was with us, it felt like we were living with a dozen 6-year-olds. The house was constantly a mess, and when it wasn't, it was only because we had cleaned it up. I was stressed, but I tried to hold it together. Larry, however, was fed up. He talked to me about it first, saying he couldn't handle my sister's self-loathing, which manifested in her trashing the house. He joked about the dishes piling up like we were in a dirty dish competition. I laughed at the time because he said it in such a funny way, and I admired how quickly he could come up with something like that. I told him to give her time, she was going through a lot. But the truth was, Larry was the one doing most of the cleaning because he got home from work first and couldn't stand the mess. It was only a matter of time before everything exploded. One evening, I came home to loud shouts coming from the house. I rushed in, worried something terrible had happened. My first thought was my sister. I imagined her fragile state might have led her to do something extreme. But when I stormed inside, I found Larry yelling at her while she lay on the couch with a completely indifferent expression. I asked what was going on, and it turned out my sister had left the kitchen faucet on. With the sink clogged by dirty dishes, the water had overflowed, flooding the kitchen. Larry was furious, his anger palpable as he scolded her. Even when I asked him to stop, he kept going, ranting about the damage and the cost of repairs, especially for our downstairs neighbors. None of that mattered to me in the moment, all I wanted was for him to be quiet. But he wouldn't stop. In a fit of rage, I yelled at him with everything I had. I told him to shut up, accused him of whining like a child, and even defended my sister, saying you should get off her case. The shock on Larry's face was unmistakable. He asked if I was serious, and I told him I was dead serious. He raised his hands in surrender and walked away to deal with the mess in the kitchen. That moment marked the beginning of a shift in our relationship. I know this because I have a sharp memory and notice every detail around me. But the downside of that is that I can sometimes be delusional, interpreting things in ways that aren't accurate. For example, when I saw Larry's reaction that day, I thought I saw defeat in his eyes. I thought he had submitted to me. But the truth was, he was just trying to control his anger. I misinterpreted his restraint as weakness, and that misconception planted the seed for the behavior that ultimately destroyed our relationship. About a week later, my sister left, but things never went back to normal. Larry became quieter, less talkative, and less funny around me. Even after my sister was gone, the tension remained. Things took a turn for the worse during a friend's birthday party. I had gone ahead, and Larry was supposed to bring the cake. I guess he was trying to be playful, like we used to be, and showed up empty-handed. I was talking to a friend when I saw him walk in without the cake, and something inside me snapped. I didn't even excuse myself, I just stormed over to him, my voice loud enough for everyone to hear. I pulled him aside and demanded to know where the cake was.